Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. What is Tarot de Marseille, and why do I use it? I've noticed that there's a lot of disagreement as to what Tarot de Marseille actually is, even among scholars. There are some who restrict it to actually the town of Marseille in a certain period of time, and certain styles of decks. There are others, scholars, who broaden that definition to include other areas or other similar but related styles of decks. And as that boundary expands, I've noticed that it's become very soft, very malleable and indefinite. So what I'd like to do in this video is tell you what I believe is a Marseille deck and what is not. This is just my opinion, and I know that my opinion differs probably from yours if you're interested in and have studied Tarot de Marseille, and definitely differs from some other scholars. For example, Patrick Valenza, I'm sorry. His definition of Tarot de Marseille is much broader than mine. And if I were to meet him in a group of other tarot scholars, would I stand up and disagree with him? No, I know that he knows far more than I do. However, I have my own impressions, my own idea of what I mean when I say Tarot de Marseille. And some of what he includes into that category is not something that I would include. So, let me tell you what I believe is Tarot de Marseille. And what I'll do is I'll flip the camera over so I can show you some decks, what is and what is not, and why I enjoy using them. So friends, if you're interested in this, stick around. I'll be right back. I'm sitting here with a lot of decks spread out around me and a very small filming space because I want to give you as close up an image of the cards as possible. Now, this is not going to be a walkthrough by any means. I'm just showing you some cards from each deck and discussing why I believe something is Tarot de Marseille and why something is not. And I'm not going in chronological order or any particular order, except I'd like to start off with what we think of as one of the first tarot decks from Italy. This is the Visconti Sforza, and if you've seen my channel, you've seen a walkthrough of Lily Stone's the Stone Visconti, which is a redrawing of this deck. Beautiful, beautiful cards. I'll put a card up here if you want to go see that video. But this is what we would call, I believe, a historic Italian deck. It is not Tarot de Marseille. Although it does have the structure of a tarot, and it has... Okay, let me back up a little bit. This deck is reconstructed or recreated in many ways. It's created to look like the cards that are in the museum now. However, there are missing cards, and those missing cards, there were 4 of them, are replaced by cards from other decks. However, the overall structure seems to have been the structure that we know as tarot, although there are no numbers on the majors. Yeah, for example, this is not card 0, this is not card 1. We don't have any numbers. We assume that these are the order, in the order that we know of as tarot, starting with either the Fool or the Magician, going to the Popess, going to the Empress, going to the Emperor, and then the Pope or the High Priest, and then the Lovers, etc., etc. So, why is this not Tarot de Marseille? There are several reasons, and other scholars, well, I'm not a scholar, but scholars would disagree for several reasons, would disagree that this could be called a Tarot de Marseille for several reasons. For me, the key indication comes in the pips, because while the majors are different, there are some differences between Tarot de Marseille decks. For example, there are some Tarot de Marseille. Now, for example, okay, this strength card is very different from the traditional, or what we would call a Tarot de Marseille strength card. This death card, for example, is very different. The devil card is very different. Although there's variation in the devil cards in Tarot de Marseille decks. So for me, rather than looking at the trumps, the key to me is when we come to the pips. For me, it's all about the pips. As long as it's a 78 card deck, we've got 22 trumps and we've got 56 minor cards, 14 of them being the court cards. As long as we've got that structure, it's all tarot to me. However, this is upside down. The reason this is not Tarot de Marseille, to me, is because of the pips. It's because the arrangement of the pips is not the same as a Tarot de Marseille deck. The organization, for example, in a Tarot de Marseille deck, these two coins would have a banner around it, rather than one curled up in the center. Yeah, these three coins would be arranged in a triangle. And when we get to cards like so for this, the Three of Cups, there would be two on the bottom and one on the top. However, one could argue, well, they look the same. I can understand that. However, when we get into for example, the swords, yeah? The swords in a Tarot de Marseille deck, for me, are curved. And there's decoration in the center, not crossed like this. This is a crossing much more similar to a wands suit, to me. In a Tarot de Marseille, the wands are crossed. The swords are curved. Let's see if I can find some wands here. The wands here are arguably perhaps similar to Tarot de Marseille. Yeah, they're hashed like a Tarot de Marseille deck, and here's the 8. Yeah, the coloring in between the wands, it's not so important to me. Here we have the 9. Okay, could still be considered Tarot de Marseille. However, when we get to the 10, instead of the 2 wands in the center, we have 5 overlapping here. Another indication to me that this is not Tarot de Marseille. So, what is Tarot de Marseille to me? Tarot de Marseille is what evolved from this. Perhaps moved to France and evolved there. Now, it's interesting that the evolution in France returns to Italy, and we'll see that in just a moment. But let me show you my facsimile deck of the Nicholas Conver. And there are 3 really, really big common names for Tarot de Marseille. Nicholas Conver, Jean Dodal, and Jean Noblet. Jean Noblet deck is earlier than this one. The Dodal may be earlier than this one as well. But the Conver is the most commonly used when redrawn or recreated decks. So, to me, this is Tarot de Marseille. And I'm sorry again, my decks are not all in order. In fact, most of them are out of order. So, be patient. So this is a traditional Tarot de Marseille Cups card. This is a Tarot de Marseille Coins card. Wands card, looking very much like the Rider-Waite-Smith in some ways, as well as the Swords card. Looks very much like a Rider-Waite-Smith deck. However, this is what a 2 of Cups looks like to me in a Tarot de Marseille. We have this banner down here, the 2 cups are standing upright, and there is a floral decoration in the center. Here is what I was describing as the 2 of Coins, a banner around the 2 coins. 2 of Wands, 2 of Swords. Yeah, the swords are curved, and when there is space in the center, there's a floral decoration in the center. What I was saying about the 3 of Cups, 2 on the bottom, 1 on the top. 3 of coins, 2 on the bottom, 1 on the top. 3 of wands. And as we go through this deck, we notice that the curved swords remained curved, and when there's an odd card, the single sword is up through the center. 4 of cups. To me, this is what makes a Tarot de Marseille deck. It's the arrangement and the decoration style. Now, the decoration changes. Each deck has its own variations of decoration around the minor cards. And let's take a look at that. So this is a facsimile. And I will leave this off to the side so that I can refer to this if necessary. This is a redrawing of the Conver deck. Here are the majors. This is the CBD Tarot. And here we go with the minors. Again, we have the single coin looking like this. The 2 coins with the banner wrapped around it. Now, the image is much clearer in this deck, certainly, but the decoration is almost exactly the same as the facsimile. Now, the 4 of coins. Let me see if I can pull out the 4 of coins back from this other deck here. Where's my 4 of coins? Where's my 4 of coins? It just was in my hand. 2, 3, 1, 4. Okay, so here's the facsimile of the 4 of coins. Here's the redrawing, looking almost exactly the same, right? Okay, so this is clearly a Tarot de Marseille deck. It's redrawn, it's crisper, it's cleaner, it's easier to see the details, but Tarot de Marseille, all the way to me. Let me move this off to the side and bring on something that some might say is controversial. Yeah? This is the Tarot Noir, and it's from France, and it is a deck which, to me, is 100% Tarot de Marseille. Some people would disagree. For me, it is Tarot de Marseille because the cups. Now I think I have reversals in this deck. Yes, I shuffled in reversals, I believe. So forgive me for that. And let me get, okay, so here we go. More coins. Yeah, the devil is certainly a very different looking devil. But to me, there are so many variations of the devil. There are variations of so many of these cards that as long as the pips look like this, yeah, the 3, the curved swords, the 1 in the center, to me, that is Tarot de Marseille. And all of these decks are beautiful, whether they are Tarot de Marseille decks, what I would call Tarot de Marseille adjacent decks. So this too does not have the banner at the bottom. However, it does still have this decorative element to me, and it's still Tarot de Marseille. And again, other people would disagree. But to me, this is Tarot de Marseille. The wands are crossed over like this. The Empress, the Emperor. You get the idea. Okay, so even though the coloration is very different, some of the majors look different from the Conver deck. To me, this is still Tarot de Marseille. Here's another recreation. This is the Tarot Classic. Now, decks like this, the Tarot Classic, the 1JJ Smith, use several different decks, or a few different decks, maybe 2 different decks. I'm not that much of a scholar. However, they use different decks to recreate a tarot, what I would think of as a Tarot de Marseille deck. And to me, this is 100% Tarot de Marseille. Now, we've got the coins, the 9 of coins, 1 in the center, and 4 on the bottom, 4 on the top. 8 of coins, lined up like this, with floral decoration in the center. So I've got a lot of coins here. Let's move on Here's the 4. Now, the 4 doesn't have the shield in the center, but it's still of an ilk, is it not? The coins are still placed in the same area. The 3. Now, this is upright for this deck. I usually prefer having the 1 coin at the top, the 2 coins on the bottom, but is that going to dissuade me from calling this a Tarot de Marseille? Not at all. Here are the 2 coins with the banner wrapped around. Let's move on to, okay, here we have some swords. Yeah, the swords are curved. The handles and the blades look a little bit different, but still the swords are curved, and there's a decorative element in the center. When we get into an odd sword, yeah, the odd sword, the center sword is pointing up. Curved swords around. Again, with the 3 of swords. Here's the 2 of cups. Yeah, we've got a banner at the bottom. The cups look different, but still, the overall arrangement is totally Tarot de Marseille to me. So this is, again, the Tarot Classic. Now, here's another one that many people may disagree on. This is the Trionfi della Luna by Patrick Valenza. And his deck, to me, is 100% Tarot de Marseille. Now, you'll notice that this magician has 3 legs, just like the table has 3 legs. That doesn't bother me. It still is Tarot de Marseille to me. Why? Let's get into the pips. Here we go. Here are the coins for the pips. Yeah? The coins are different, a little bit different. However, there is still the same flavor to them. We still have the decoration, 1 central coin, decoration top and bottom. We have the 2 of coins with the banner around. We have the 3 of coins. Yeah? 2 and 1 with a floral, a very creepy looking floral, but a very floral arrangement around it. We have the 4 of coins with the shield in the center. Let's move on to the cups. 6 of cups, yeah, with the floral decoration running up the center. The 7 of cups, arranged like this, arranged just like Tarot de Marseille decks. Now, the plant could be out of Little Shop of Horrors. Still, it's a plant decoration. Let's look at the wand. No, let's look at the swords. Yeah, here we have the 2 of swords. The swords are curved. Now here we have handles at the bottoms, points at the tops. Doesn't bother me. I mean, it doesn't bother me that it's like that. It's still Tarot de Marseille. I love the card. If it were just a pit card, I would still love the card. But to me, this difference does not cut it out from being a Tarot de Marseille deck for me. Now we have the single sword pointing up in the center with 2 curved swords on the side. We have a plant decoration with swords curved around the side. And then we'll have another single sword pointing up in the center. So this to me is 100% Tarot de Marseille. There are additional cards in this deck. Yeah, he supplemented the deck with additional cards, but the base deck to me is 100% Tarot de Marseille. The Patrick Valenza Trionfi della Luna. He also has Paradoxical, which look like he took a photo of the original deck and used the negative with different colored shading. Now there's a purple one, there's a rose-colored one, there's a navy-colored one. The Paradoxical decks are also, to me, Tarot de Marseille, even though the image is a reversed image, like in a negative is a reversed image. Still Tarot de Marseille to me. And let's now move back to Italy. Yeah, this is the, the name is I've got the Tarocco Sopravino. The Tarocco Sopravino, which was made in Milan in 1830. and to me is still Tarot de Marseille. So the Marseille decorations, the Marseille arrangement of the pips seem to have come back into Italy after they were developed in Marseille and the area, and Switzerland as well. So this to me is Tarot de Marseille. We have the crossed wands. Yeah? We have curved swords, with the odd sword being sticking up, pointed up in the center. Here we have the 3 cups in Tarot de Marseille arrangement with a floral decoration around, just like Tarot de Marseille. Here we have 2 cups. Now you can see that the drawing is much more detailed in the Italian decks, which is common. The Italian decks tend to have a much more detailed, finer, more refined drawing to them. The other cards are much simpler, much more to the point. Yeah, there's detail, certainly. There's color variation, certainly. However, comparing the drawing of this to this one looks much more cartoon, and this looks much more detailed illustration to me. However, I would say that this deck is equally Tarot de Marseille because of the arrangement of the pips. Here we have the Wheel of Fortune, here we have the King of Cups, and here we have a Wands card. Yeah, the odd wand pointing up in the center, and the even numbered wands crossed over from the sides. Here we have the 10 of Cups. Now, oftentimes this top cup is pointed in the other direction. However, being pointed in this direction does not take it out of the realm of Tarot de Marseille to me. Now, let me see if I can find that 10 of Wands card, which was different in the other Italian decks. Here's the 9 of Wands, yeah, which was the same, the arrangement is similar in the Visconti Sforza. However, when we get to the 10 of Wands, here we go, the 10 of Wands, you'll see that we have 4 crossed, and then 2 in the center. So this, even though it's an Italian deck, is, to me, 100% Tarot de Marseille. So again, for me, Tarot de Marseille distinctions, it's all about the pips. Now here is another deck from Italy. This is the Niabi deck. Here we have the King of Pentacles. To me, this is not Tarot de Marseille. This is a pip deck, or a historic Italian deck, but to me, it's a pip deck. Why? Okay, illustration is very detailed. Yes, but here we have the 4 of Cups. 1, 2, 3, 4. The arrangement of the cups, well, of course, they don't really look like cups. They look more like vases to me, or dishes to me. However, definitely, the arrangement of these cups is not Tarot de Marseille arrangement. Here we have the 4 of Spades, the 4 of Swords. The 4 of Swords in a Tarot de Marseille deck would be 2 on each side curved. This is not that. Yeah? So to me, this is not Tarot de Marseille. It is beautiful, and it is an Italian deck. And again, there are some Italian decks which are, to me, within the range of Tarot de Marseille, the Sopravino. However, this Niabi deck is not Tarot de Marseille. Here's the 2 of Coins. Very different. No banner running around them. Here's the 2 of Swords. Yeah? Very different from a Tarot de Marseille deck. Here is the 6 of Wands. They're crossed over, certainly. But this deck is very, very different to me from a Tarot de Marseille deck. Here is the 6 of Cups. Yeah? The Tarot de Marseille deck has 6 cups, 3 and 3 on the side, with a floral decoration running up the center. Definitely, to me, not Tarot de Marseille. Beautiful, historic. I read it similar to Tarot de Marseille, but not a Marseille deck. So, am I saying that it's only the Italian decks that are outside of the bounds of Tarot de Marseille? No. So this is the Tarot de Paris. This Tarot de Paris predates Tarot de Marseille decks, to my understanding. And this is not Tarot de Marseille to me. Why? First, let's look at the wands. Yeah? The wands in this deck remain this crude wand shape. Now, this is frankly upside down. Yeah, this is reversed. But still, in a Tarot de Marseille deck even, we'll have the Ace of Wands being a rather crude-looking, rough-looking wand. And even in the court cards, the Page or Valet of Wands also has a very rough-looking, a very crude-looking wand. However, when we get to, and I'm trying to find it in my facsimile deck, where are you, baby? Here we go. Yeah, the Ace of Wands in even the facsimile deck is a very rough, crude-looking wand. However, when we get to the Two of Wands, already in the facsimile deck, we have a much more refined, developed, man-made wand. However, in the Tarot de Paris, we have very rough wands throughout the entire deck. Okay, again, now here we have swords. This is the Seven of Swords. Yeah? They are not curved. The odd sword is in the center, but it's not up the center as it would be in a Tarot de Marseille deck. And here we have the Ace of Coins. Yeah, this lion seems to be the primary image to me in this card, not the coin. So to me, this truly is not Tarot de Marseille. And as you can see, I read with reversals with this deck. Ten of Wands. Nothing resembling what I would consider a Tarot de Marseille deck. This Ten of Wands does not look anything like the Ten of Wands. Where are you in TDM, Tarot de Marseille? And I cannot find my Ten of Wands right offhand. Let me see. Well, let me pull it from the... Let me pull it from here. Okay, let me pull it from this deck. It'll be very easy to find here. And the swords and the wands and from the CBD, Ten of Wands. To me, nothing, not even in the least bit resembling each other. So, Tarot de Marseille, not Tarot de Marseille to me. Okay, let me move right along to a very controversial thing I'm about to say. So, this is Robert M. Place's Alchemical Tarot de Marseille, the Alchemical Tarot of Marseille. Now we're getting into extensions of, to me, not Tarot de Marseille. And this I would consider to be Tarot de Marseille adjacent, because there are similarities and there are some great differences. I've also got a walkthrough of this deck, and I don't want to harp on on this not being a Tarot de Marseille deck. However, let's take a look. Why, to me, is this not Tarot de Marseille? We've got a cup right here in the center. Could be Tarot de Marseille. But look at this Ten of Cups. This Ten of Cups is not arranged in the same way as the Ten of Cups is for Tarot de Marseille. Now, this is in a triangle, a pyramid. This is a Tarot de Marseille arrangement to me. But, okay, you could say, well, come on, Mr. Thomas. Come on, Derek. What about this? Okay, so it's not the creature behind that does not make it Tarot de Marseille to me. What makes it not Tarot de Marseille to me is that the swords are not curved. This looks much more like a historic Italian deck to me than a Tarot de Marseille. Here we have more swords, the Nine of Swords. Here we have the Eight of Coins. Now, the Eight of Coins is similar to a Tarot de Marseille Eight of Coins, but still not exactly the same. Yeah, here is the Eight of Coins for Tarot de Marseille. They're lined up. This is definitely not lined up. It's beautiful. I love this deck. I will read with this deck. However, it's not Tarot de Marseille. And this, to me, was the nail in the coffin, if you will. To me, this is Rider-Waite-Smith. Or Sopravino. Not Sopravino. Solabusca. This is not Tarot de Marseille. And to me, it's so difficult not to see Rider-Waite-Smith when I read this, when I see this card. Now, wands. Okay, the wands are similar. The wands are similar. This addition here does not bother me. To me, the greatest differences are the arrangement of, for example, the cups, the coins, and the shape of the swords. Yeah, this is not a Tarot de Marseille arrangement to the cups. Let me see if I can get another. So this is not a Tarot de Marseille Two of Swords. This looks much more like a Rider-Waite-Smith Two of Swords to me, but still. He calls it the Alchemical Tarot de Marseille, and that's fine. To me, this is at best Tarot de Marseille adjacent. Now, here's another deck that now this is where we get into, so there are also pip decks that are not Tarot de Marseille. And this is the Lux et Ex-Umbra. I always get that wrong. Lux Ex-Umbra Tarot. To me, this is clearly not Tarot de Marseille. The creators, I believe, based it on the ideas of Tarot de Marseille. However, you will see. Now, this Six of Coins, the coins are arranged Tarot de Marseille style. And the Valet de Denier, the Page of Coins, not being a person, being what do we call it? An astrological symbol, does not bother me. I mean, I can swing with that. I really can swing with that. Ace of Wands. This fire at the top, no hand. Okay, I could swing with that. But this really is not Tarot de Marseille. The arrangement is definitely not Tarot de Marseille to me. Here we have the two, no banner. Okay, Two of Discs. This is the Ten of Wands. This does not look anything like Tarot de Marseille to me. Ace of Coins. Here's the Nine of Wands. I mean, this is a gorgeous deck. I love this deck. I'm very happy to have this deck. I would not call this a Tarot de Marseille deck. I would call this a pip deck, which is fine. There are wonderful pip decks out there. Love to use pip decks. In fact, I can read pip decks similarly to Tarot de Marseille. However, I won't call it a Tarot de Marseille deck. I will call this a pip deck. Not even Tarot de Marseille adjacent. This to me is 100% pip deck. Gorgeous, right? Beautiful. And again, this is totally, to me, Rider-Waite-Smith. Yeah? The Three of Swords in Tarot de Marseille is not a pierced heart. Yeah? It's thought that breaks out. It's breaking through. It's a new development in thought. Not heartbreak. And when I see this heart pierced like this, all I can think of is heartbreak from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. So, some of these pip decks really do have so many nods to the Rider-Waite-Smith images that it's difficult to ignore them. Yeah? This is the Ten of Cups. Does not look anything like a Rider-Waite-Smith, a Marseille deck to me. So I would call this a pip deck. And there's one more deck I would like to show you. And this might be controversial for some people as well. This is the, what are we calling this? This is the Pagan Otherworlds deck. One of my favorite decks. It's beautiful. I've got two versions of it. This is my second copy. I've got a first edition. This is, I believe, the second edition. I love this deck. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It is not Tarot de Marseille, first off. Why? Okay, for example, not Tarot de Marseille. Look at those swords. Now, some people call this a pip deck. And to me, this is not even a pip deck. To me, this is 100% Rider-Waite-Smith. The people are missing. Certainly, the people are missing. However, I can see the woman sitting here, even though she's not drawn. The woman with the blindfold, making the decision in front of the ocean. I see the Rider-Waite-Smith card in this deck. Yeah? Here we have the Four of Swords, which is usually in a cemetery. You see a coffin with a knight's coffin, and there are four swords above, and there's one below. And I see this arrangement, and I see that card here. Here we have the Five. And in the original, the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, there is a guy holding these three swords. There are two other swords off in the distance. He's sneaking away. He's carrying those away. There are two other people here looking defeated, going off in another direction. I see all of that because of the arrangement of these swords and the landscape. Here we have the Six of Swords. I see the guy standing here in the boat and the woman and the child sitting in the boat going in this direction from rough water to clear water. I see all of that in this card. So to me, this is not Tarot de Marseille. This is not a pip deck. This is Rider-Waite-Smith. I see all of the missing figures in this. This is the Eight of Swords. I see the woman standing there, even though she's not drawn. Here is the Nine of Swords. Yeah? The Nine of Swords. I can see the swords on the wall. That's almost exactly the same layout. They're tilted a little bit different, but I see that. Now this one is a little bit more difficult to see. Now this one looks more like a pip deck. Yeah, these swords are not stuck in a body here. So this one could argue, well, that's not Rider-Waite-Smith, but still we have the skull down here reminding me of the stabbed body. Let's move through the court cards. This is a gorgeous deck. It's a beautiful deck. I'm so happy I have this deck. I love this deck. But this is a beautiful card, the Page of Cups. Yeah, here we have the Ten of Cups. Instead of the rainbow, we have the cups. But we have the cups in the rainbow. We don't have the family here, but we've got the rainbow colors here in the banner. I see the rainbow. I see the family. Here we have the Nine of Cups. We don't see the fat guy sitting here in front of them, but I see him there. So I think you get the idea. Yeah, to me, the Pagan Otherworlds deck is not a pip deck. The Pagan Otherworlds deck is the Rider-Waite-Smith deck without the people standing there. In the small cards. Now we've got people in the courts, we got people in the majors. But even though there are no people here, I see them. I see them. So for me, I cannot read this as a pip deck. I read this totally Rider-Waite-Smith. So, friends, that is how I distinguish between Rider-Waite-Smith decks, Rider-Waite-Smith adjacent decks, which, again, I would place the Robert M. Place, Marseille, Alchemical Tarot of Marseille as Marseille adjacent. Yeah, I'd put the Niabi deck historical Italian, and also perhaps Marseille adjacent, because it's similar. I can read it similarly. There are other decks, again, which I would just say are plain old pip decks. And to me, this is a pip deck with a lot of nods to the Rider-Waite-Smith system. And there are decks without any people in them, like the Pagan Otherworlds, which to me are Rider-Waite-Smith. So, answering that question, the longest answer in the world. The second question, why do I use Tarot de Marseille or pip decks? Well, I used them at first to expand my understanding of tarot. I continue using them because I noticed that while I still love reading with Rider-Waite-Smith, I love Rider-Waite-Smith, it will always be my first and forever love. The pip cards, and especially the Tarot de Marseille cards, when people say that they free you in reading, I've now come to understand that. Because, again, when we look at the Three of Swords in, for example, a Rider-Waite-Smith deck, we see a heart being pierced and rain, and I can see nothing beyond that feeling of heartbreak. Whether it's upright or reversed, all I can see is heartbreak. When I see this card, however, I don't get that feeling. I get the idea of a much more positive, a breakthrough of thought. Now, there's a disruption here, and there's a shadow side to this card, but there's also a light side to this card, a new idea, a developed idea which is now going out into the world. And I can see the light side of this card so much more easily than I can see a light side to the Rider-Waite-Smith deck with the swords piercing the heart. To me, the pip decks and Tarot de Marseille decks have opened up my ability, my understanding of both numbers and suits, elements, and I read Tarot de Marseille in the style of number plus suit or element. There are some who read it almost or 100% pictorially. I do not. I'm in the school, if you will, of reading it number 3 plus element. This would be air, 3 of swords, ideas, communication, thoughts. So I read with Tarot de Marseille because I really have discovered it has opened up my perception of the cards and opened up my ability to look at cards in sequence rather than as distinct elements, looking at cards as a story in arrangements rather than this place means this idea, that place means that idea in this spread with a placement spread. A placement spread is what I call that. Now, when I lay out a Tarot de Marseille spread, I still call it a spread. They're not individual cards with individual placements. But I will predetermine I'm going to lay out 3 cards, and I will read those 3 cards in a sequence or as the cards dictate. I'm not reading it past, present, future, or energy obstacle advice. They're one story. But still, there are 3 cards. They're predetermined. I predetermined where they're going to lay. So to me, that is also a spread. It's not a spread with placements, but it is still a spread. And reading Tarot de Marseille spreads to me has also enlarged my vocabulary of reading cards. And it has also enlarged my vocabulary and my way of reading Rider-Waite-Smith cards as well. So I'm going to continue reading both. And I will eventually add the Thoth system as well. I'm studying it, but I haven't started really reading with it yet. And who knows, I might add other tarot systems. But at this point, I love both Rider-Waite-Smith and Tarot de Marseille. I see them being read differently, and I read them differently, although my reading of both has influenced both in some ways. Mostly, my reading of Tarot de Marseille has influenced my reading of Tarot of Rider-Waite-Smith, rather than the other way around. My reading of Lenormand has also influenced the way I read both tarot systems, both the Marseille and Rider-Waite-Smith. So the more I learn, the more I am able to merge elements where they fit. I'm able to cut them out when they do not fit. For example, I would not read Tarot de Marseille past, present, future. That doesn't fit to me for Tarot de Marseille. However, I might use Tarot de Marseille 9 card, for example, with Rider-Waite-Smith, because influence in that direction can sometimes seem helpful to me. I don't know. Does this make sense to you? I hope it makes sense to you. And if it does, let me know, please. And let me know what you think of my ideas. What do you think? Are my ideas of what is and what is not Tarot de Marseille in line with yours? Do you have another way of discriminating between Tarot de Marseille and other card systems? Do you include other pip cards in Tarot de Marseille where I exclude them? I'd love to hear from you. And how do you read them? Why do you read them? Why do you use Tarot de Marseille if you do? Tell me in the comments below. And hit the like button if you feel called to. Subscribe to my channel if you have not yet already, and hit the alarm so you get notifications of when I upload videos. And share this with somebody else who might be considering Tarot de Marseille, so they get some idea of variations of cards, how one might discriminate between Marseille and non-Marseille. I think some people might get value out of that, and if you agree, share this and comment below. I really would love to hear from you. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.